I was just out here talking. Oh, he's over there, gay homeless bro. I was talking to him for like 5 minutes. And if you've seen him on here before, he just goes. Yeah, I always stop and give him a cigarette, and unless I'm like, in a hurry. But yeah, he goes from one thing to another. It's just like this rapid fire kind of story. Today was the death of his mother. She was pushed off Mount Fiji. It's pretty interesting. I try to hang with him, for a few minutes at least. But he's an interesting guy. I was just in the corner store, the Korean store, the one I always go into, and I saw this dude who was stealing. Hey, how you doing, man? He was stealing something, and a drink. He was about the drinks, and he had a bag with him, and he just slipped like a root beer into the bag. He was like an islander though, like an older island guy, like one of the people that they threw off, sadly, the island during COVID. The one you see less and less of all the time, and I'm just like, yeah, whatever. Do I care about this? I'm thinking, no. Where I come from, you don't steal from mom and pop stores. It's just not cool. It's not something you should do. I never would. I never have. Well, I shouldn't say I never have. When I was in single digit grades, I remember stealing a pack of Kiss cards. And I got in the car with my dad, and I told him I was so excited. I just found these. What did you do? And he freaked out. And he brought me back to the store, and he made me give them back to the guy. And I don't know. I didn't think I was doing anything wrong. I saw them. They weren't where the rest of the regular cards were. They were just sitting on the top of a display of some kind of. Who the fuck cares? How to get on this side? I feel like gay homeless bro now. But anyway, I'm in the store and I see the guy steal it, and I'm like, I don't care about that. This was his ancestors' home. Let him have a root beer. If it was a white guy, I would have waited. I would have been like, oh man. I would have waited outside and been like, dude, wait, steal from Target or something. If it was a black guy, I would have alerted him immediately. I'm like, this fucking guy just stole a fucking root beer. Different strokes move the world. I was just watching this Nick Fuentes thing. I've been seeing him a lot because he's on YouTube. They did YouTube cuts of his. He's not allowed on it, but they allow people to clip him. There's some guys making some good money doing that stuff. They just basically take clips from his show, his daily show, and since he's not on YouTube himself, they get hundreds of thousands of views. I don't know, I feel like, I guess that's cool, but I feel like that's cheating in a way. But whatever, that's not, I think they're doing a service because they're letting people see him. But that's some kind of racket though, that the reaction clip people, some of them don't even react to them. They just kind of play clips and they talk about it and play a little bit more and they talk about it. That's kind of a good gig. Especially if you can get the numbers in there that you start making money from it. I'm not that, I have any illusions of ever making money from YouTube. But the Nick thing, he was good. He was fucking dropping some truth about Israel. Basically saying are you America first? If you're America first, then you have to put America first, And there's a sort of civil war, I guess, going on in the right right sphere, where they're, I guess, purity spiraling. What it's coming down to, though, is if you're pro-Israel or you're not pro-Israel. And the Ben Shapiro types are trying to get people out of the right wing, calling them woke right, if they don't support Israel. And I'm gonna link this particular video at the bottom because Nick just he spells it all out, a lot of great points about the whole Israel America thing, like the way conservatives don't really care about the browning of America. They don't care that these different parts of the country are being turned into mini little third world kind of strongholds. It's pretty crazy, because that's what's happening. You have a little Somalia, a little Haiti, a little Mogadishu over here. And once these people gain the traction so that they have enough power and majority in an area, they're gonna start making the area like parts of London that have that Muslims have overran. They see it as their territory. It's kind of crazy, and it was indeed Ben Shapiro's people that let all these guys in the country. Because one thing no one seems to talk about is the larger spiritual war implications. That is the fact that Israel and the Jews, or those calling themselves Jews, want to get rid of white people. It's part of their religious plan. Their religious doctrine calls for it. They want to get rid of the white people. They're God's children, and they're the only people that could really stand up against them. No one really goes that deep as we go, and some of my friends go. It's like even Nick Fuentes, like he'll go to a certain point, but then there's other layers that he's not gonna go to, that no one will go to, that we'll go to, and that's why we're kind of always going to be on the fringes. And eventually these levels that we talk about here, people will get to them, and they'll understand them, or they'll realize that that's part of it, or the most important part of it, because it is. I mean, that's really what's going on. It's not about money. It's never about money. Everybody's always caught up in anytime anything bad's happening, it's like, follow the money. No. Those with their hands on those kind of power levels, those levels of power, they don't need money. They don't use money. You think fucking Bill Gates uses money? Or anyone at WEF uses money? Money is for us, the fucking slaves. That's our system. They don't live in that. They don't use money for anything. They make the money. The money's a joke. It's a scam. It's for us to keep us busy. Without this, you can't exist. And without this, you can't have a better life. And so they make everybody jump on the hamster wheel and start. Meanwhile, they don't. It's a joke. If they need to create more for us to shut us up for some reason, they just fucking print more. I don't know what their currency is children, sadly, but it's true. Outside of that, I think they trade mountains or something. I'll give you this mountain over here. And Nia's grandmother, the one that we moved here for, because she had dementia really bad, and we moved here with the idea that she was going to be dropping dead soon. So we wanted to help her family at the final chapter of this thing, because when you have someone that has dementia, and Alzheimer's are a handful. My mom had it, and I was living with her. Me and Nia were living with her for a while. It was a tough situation. So we came here to help them with her, thinking we'd be here 6 months. She wasn't going to live that long. Ended up living 6 years. So. And then by that time, I'd already had a lot of things happen to me here, and had a lot of realizations that this was where I was supposed to be. And it was foretold to my sister by a mall psychic I think it was the Methuen Mall. She went to a psychic there to see if she could put her in touch with a friend of hers that had died very young. And she started talking about me, how she is, you have this one of your brothers. And she's like, well, I only have one brother. And she's like, well, then it must be this one brother. He's going to move to an island because of a girl. Now, this was early 2000s. I was with a band at that time. I was performing a lot, and that was my whole life, just doing that fucking thing. And yeah, I was just answering someone in a comment about that, I was talking about my band. Anyway, fucking sidetracked there, spaced out. But yeah, and I remember thinking at the time, like, why would I go to an island? You know, Mr. Goth Skin Man. No interest in it. I don't even like being outside. You know? That's how, you know, I was feeling then. And then she brought it up to me a couple of years after I lived here. She's like, remember when I went to that mall psychic? How do you do that, I wonder? I mean, I have some ideas how someone might be able to do that. But that was pretty legit. I think she said some other stuff too, but that was basically it. Yeah. Anyway, her grandmother owned a mountain in what is now North Korea, which used to be just Korea. Her family had some money. Then they moved here. They were diamond dealers. I don't know the circumstances of how they got out of that business, but usually the Jews don't let anyone but them do that. So I know they switched from the diamond business to the restaurant business sometime in the early 1980s, and then they got out of that and they did restaurants here and on the mainland, and one in Boston. Subsequently, that's how I met Nia. She had left here. She got that island fever, is what they call it. When people, you know, when you're young, I guess growing up here as a younger person, you kind of feel trapped. Because there really is nowhere to go. I mean, you can take a car and do the whole island in about 2.5 hours, maybe. Depends on traffic and what part you drive through. 3 hours tops. You know, it's not, you're trapped. You're kind of, there's nowhere to go. So they get this boxed in feeling. Now, for someone like me, it's perfect, because no matter where I live, I usually, unless I'm going to do something, you know, from, you know, whatever it is for work or something. But if I'm just not doing anything, I'd never leave my own neighborhood. I'd fucking stay in Waikiki. Waikiki's big enough for me. You know, I just do the perimeter sometimes. I don't even do the perimeter anymore. I've kind of honed my area of movement to a very small kind of track, but you know, I don't know, it works out for me. How do we fucking hear anyway? Oh yeah, the Jew thing. It's getting kind of obvious to people what their deal is, and they're just finding that the Jews those that call themselves Jews are just finding themselves at odds with like everybody, and they see their support slipping away. And that's why they're trying to enact all this new legislation for anti-Semitism. Meta has these new things too, because I noticed I got a couple things removing my content, because I fucking, when I post on Instagram, which I still do, I just post ads about the channel or something, it automatically posts to my Facebook account, which I don't use, is an account I've never really used or posted with. It's just my name and some pictures. And it's tied to that, and I don't know how to untie it. I haven't really looked up, because I haven't cared that much, but yeah, fucking posts over there kind of drives me crazy. I don't need the fucking Facebook thing, mainly because of this. You know, they have that post taken down. When it gets taken down on Facebook, it gets taken down on Instagram, because it's the same company. But where it would be, you know, they would notice it on Instagram. On Facebook, it gets picked up. And a few things lately have been flagged as anti-Semitic or something. Now, I do post memes and stuff that are like that, but not anti-Semitic. Not like, anything I do here or on social media is never outwardly anti-Semitic or racist. It's always done in like a comedy way. And the things that aren't comedic are like factual information and shit. You know, like like a graph or something, or statistics, which some people hate because you can't spin that. But yeah, being outwardly, blatantly hateful, or I know what'll get me in trouble, you know. So for a long time I wasn't getting anything, and now that they started moving these new laws through, these new fucking bills through, I've been getting hit. So I don't know, who cares? As long as it doesn't affect us over here. And as I was saying yesterday, it's been pretty good over here. I haven't gotten any bans in quite some time, and I don't plan on getting it. Well, you never fucking plan on, do you? Alright. Thanks for popping in. Thanks for checking in on me. I thought I had something beyond the Occultist Jewish thing, but I guess not. I'm gonna link it down in the comments. You'll know what I'm talking about. It's pretty good. He sums it all up. Exactly what the problem with them is and are, and why this civil war is happening on the right. And it's a purity style, but it mainly comes down to: are you with us on Israel? Are you with me, Ben Shapiro, on Israel? Or are you not with me, Ben Shapiro, on Israel? And being with Israel means not complaining about migration and all this other stuff that's destroying our country. You know, like you're saying, our cities are shitholes. They're becoming shitholes because if you put shitty people in them, they become like that. You know, you introduce the third world to the first, and you never get the first world out of it. You know, it'll sink as low as the lowest people there, and it ends up becoming the third world. And even the third worlders that come over here because they like what the first world has to offer, well, just by virtue of the fact that you're here, you're going to make it worse, and it's going to end up like fucking Haiti. But they're not sophisticated enough, or well, they really lack the brain equipment to figure that one out. And by the time they figure it out, I don't even know if they'd care. You know, see, sometimes I have to stop, and people have to stop, like white people have to stop looking at everything with the white brain. Our brain is very different from anyone else. Some of the considerations we have and things that we assume other people feel, they just don't. You know, what was it? Oh yeah, I was watching this old story from a few years ago. It came back up in my newsfeed of this 90-something-year-old man that was burned to death alive, and the next door neighbor was this black kid, and he's like, "Oh, it's so terrible! I can't believe they burned that old man like that. That's so terrible." Well, it turns out he's the one that did it. He doesn't have empathy. If you don't have a prefrontal cortex, you can't process abstract thoughts, and empathy isn't abstract thought. But you can copy white people. When you see them do it, you know they look sad when they do it. So you just copy what they did, and that's exactly what he was doing. It's creepy. Once you know what's going on there, it's like, wow, he's just copying having empathy. He's one that burned him to death. What a agonizing way to go. The guy's son was saying that too. He's like, I hate thinking about my dad's last moments on earth being burned to death. For no reason, too. He just did it. You know how those people are. They'll kill you for no reason. And you ask them, why'd you do it? After they're done saying they didn't, they'll say they don't know. If it happened long enough in the past, in their minds they didn't do it. That's a whole nother part of their strange brain chemistry that we can't understand because it's so different from ours. We're not going to go into that now, though. I've gone into that enough here, and we always circle back to those concepts. But yeah, it's interesting to see when you don't have the equipment to process certain kind of thoughts, you end up with a situation where the judge is asking you, how would you feel if someone came on the train and attacked you? And there's this blank stare. How would you feel if someone did it to you? Well, no one did it to me. Yeah, but how would you feel if someone came on the train and did it to you? Ain't nobody did that to me. You can't conceptualize it. It's abstract thought. I'd probably throw that cigarette away. 15-minute rule. Don't blame the teacher. Blame the school.